Hello, welcome to Do It Yourself with Wayne. We're going to start a series on building bluebird houses. We got 4 different houses here. We're going to do a separate video of each house. They're all a little bit different. If you look at this one, it has a slot in the top instead of a hole. There's advantages and disadvantages to that. This one is built with a different type of wood than this one, as an example. We're going to be talking about all these different things, but like I said, we'll be doing a separate video for each bluebird house. And if you subscribe to our channel, if you're not already a subscriber, and if you are, we really appreciate that. But if you subscribe to our channel, it'll make it easier for you to find these different bluebird houses that we're going to do videos about how to build them. But today, we're going to start with this one. It's probably one of the most common styles. And this video is going to be about building this bluebird house. Okay, in this video, we're going to proceed with building this birdhouse. First off, I'm going to show you the things you got to have. You got to have a saw. Now, I got my miter saw out here. I got my jigsaw. You can also use those. I got my circular saw. It doesn't really matter. I've also got a hand saw out here. Mostly, I'm going to be using my miter saw because it's quicker and does a better job. But it really doesn't matter what kind of saw you've got. You're going to need a drill. I got my cordless drill. I got my bench drill out here. You got to have some kind of a drill. You need a bit that's 1.5 inches in diameter. You got to have that to drill the hole. Now you need a square, you need a hammer, pencil. You need a tape measure. Now to put it together, there's different options. You can use screws. If you use screws, use screws that are treated like a deck screw or something. And I got some nails. It's best if you use some kind of nail that won't rust, but you don't have to. And of course you got to have some wood. Now, this particular wood is not treated. We do not recommend treated wood. This is just a plain old pine 1x6. You can use cedar pickets if you want to. The difference with the cedar pickets, and we'll be doing a couple of birdhouses where we use the cedar pickets, but the cedar pickets tend to be thinner than this, so it affects your dimensions and things. So let's get forward, moving forward with building this birdhouse. And first thing we want to do is start cutting our wood. Now at this point, I went ahead and cut the pieces of wood. What I started out with, you need a 6-foot 1x6. And I think I said earlier, don't use treated wood. If you do, it'll last longer, but the chemicals that are in there are just really not good for the baby birds. If you do your research online, some people say it's okay, some people say it's not. I don't trust it. So my suggestion is don't use treated wood. But like I said, a 6-foot 1x6. And my first piece is for the sides. The long edge is cut at 13 1/4, the short edge at 11 1/4. And then you cut a little bit of the edge off. That'll be this hole right here that allows for ventilation. That's the reason you cut that corner off. You got 2 of those. They look just alike when you're through. The next is the bottom. It's just a 4-inch piece of the 5.5 inch wide, which is, 1x6 is only 5.5 inches wide. The next piece is 10.5 inches. And then this is the top. It's 10 inches, but you bevel the 2 ends. This is a 20-degree angle. This is a 20-degree angle. Okay? And that'll go on the top like that. So you want this angle so the things drain water better. And then this is the back piece. It's 13.5 inches with a bevel, 20 degrees bevel here. And that'll be the back side. The birdhouse will be here. And then your top will set up like that. So your 20-degree angles, work well for keeping water out of the birdhouse. So that's our pieces. Now we're going to take the front piece, which is this piece. We're going to drill a hole in here that's 1.5 inches in diameter. Now to drill our hole, and like I said, this is the front piece of the birdhouse. We want the hole down 2 inches and in the center. So I'm going to come down 2 inches. I'm going to put me a mark there. And then I'm going to mark the center. The center of 5 1/2 is 2 3/4. So I'll put a mark there. That gives me a cross mark for where my center of the hole should be. Now, when you drill your hole, you can have different kinds of bits. I've got this bit here. I got it set so that my drill bit won't go all the way down to the plate here, because I don't want to hit it. But what I'm going to do, I'm going to turn my drill on. I'm going to drill as far as it will, and then I'm going to turn it over, and then I'll show you why I do that. Now, if you'll notice, when I started drilling, the 1 1/2 inch bit did not go all the way through, but the center bit did. And I can use that hole where the center bit was at. That gets me centered up. That gets me centered up to drill the other side. And with drilling in from both sides and meeting in the middle, you end up with a lot smoother hole. If you just take and drill all the way through on one end, your back side tends to get roughed up edges and splintered. If you take the time and drill part way from one side and finish it up from the other side, you end up with a lot nicer, neater hole for your birds to come in and out of. Here we've got all of our parts cut and placed together. Nothing is nailed together yet. We're getting into that. But we've got our roof, our front with our hole in it. We've got our 2 sides. And notice when you cut this sides, you got a notch that you cut out here. And that's to allow ventilation at the top. On the bottom, this is the bottom piece. We cut the corners off. That allows ventilation on the bottom. If you can see the bottom of this birdhouse, you can see the 4 corners are notched out. If rain happens to get into birdhouse, that gives it a place to go. It also gives airflow that can help eliminate moisture buildup and too much humidity and stuff that can be detrimental to your baby birds. So that's the reason you cut the corners off. You got to do something to let air flow through the house. There's different ways you can do it, but that's what we're doing with this particular house. So there we go, that sets in there. And there's our pieces, so let's start putting them together. Now before you start putting your pieces together, you got a decision to make. You got to be able to clean out your bluebird houses. When bluebirds build a house or build a nest and they raise their young and they fledge, you got to clean that old nest out because they don't like an old nest in the box. So you'll have a lot more success if you clean them out. So you got to be able to open these things. And the way this one opens, we've got a nail here. We'll show you how to do that in a little bit. And this side door will open up. That way you can get into the box to clean the old nest out. It's personal preference, but which side do you want to open? It doesn't matter, it's personal preference. But think about which side you're going to open, because the side you're going to be opening doesn't get nailed together like the side that you don't open. Okay, so you got to think about that before you start putting nails or screws in these things. And you can use screws, if you can use nails, it's just personal preference, it doesn't matter. Whichever suits you best. In this particular case, I'm going to use nails. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to start with my bottom and my 2 sides. And I'm going to take my sides, I'm going to stand them up like so, and get them ready to nail. Now before you nail this in place, you got to think about your 20-degree angle here and your 20-degree angle here. You got to make sure they're lined up. But we can go ahead and start our nails. You can get a few nails out here. All right, got those nails started, but they're not holding any wood together yet. Now I'm going to take and It doesn't matter which piece of wood you use, just something that's straight. And make it so that this edge here on your side piece and this angle on your roof lines up, because that's the way they need to line up. And when you got them lined up good and you're happy with it, then you nail your nails on in. And there we go. Now, like I said, on our box, in this case, we're going to be opening this side so that one does not get nailed in like I just nailed the first one. If you make the mistake and nail it in, just pull the nails back out, because one side has got to be able to swing out, so you don't put the nails in it like that. All right, now let's put the top on. Top goes like this. Here again, don't put nails on this side, because this has got to be able to pivot like this, so don't nail it. So I'm going to put nails here and here, but not over here, okay? So I'm going to mark where I want these nails to go, and I'm going to get them started. You may notice when I put these nails in, I'm kind of following that 20-degree angle that we cut the wood at. So this piece will go right here. Square these up. Put those nails on in. All right, there's that much. Now, like I said, this side you don't nail it in like you did the other parts. All right, now we're going to put the front on. I'm going to set this up here just to help hold things in place. With our front, you just push it all the way up, and that's where it goes. I'm going to go ahead and put some nails in here. I'll put one more just for good measure. All right, now we've got to put our bottom in. Bottom goes in like this. Put a few nails in that. Now there we go, everything except for the side piece. Now at this point, one thing you want to do is look on the inside of your box and make sure you don't have any nails sticking out. This is kind of important. If you got pointy nails sticking out on the inside of your box, you can hurt your baby birds with that. So if you do have any, pull them back out, replace them, just to make sure there's nothing on the inside that little birds can get hurt on. Now on the side piece, we got everything put together except for the side piece. And like I said, it's got to be able to pivot. In my case, it's a little bit snug, maybe a little more snug than it needs to be, but that'll be okay. But put it in place where you want it. Now what you got, and I got aluminum nails. They don't have to be aluminum, but I got some, so I'm going to use them. But you need 2 nails. They go in from either side like this as a pivot point. Basically the nails end up being a hinge for your door. So what you want to do is decide where you want one of them. I'm going to put a little mark there. Take your square and mark the back side. because these two nails need to be at the same height this way. So they're like this even, so they act as a hinge or a pivot point for your door to swing out. All right, so what I'm going to do to make these things swing a little bit easier, I'm going to drill the holes that my nails are going in. And I got my drill bit set so it doesn't go quite as far as the nail. All right, then I'll tap the nail in there. Turn the house over, do the same thing, following my mark. My hole that I'm drilling is just a tad bigger maybe than my nail, but not much, but not as long as the nail. That way when you drive the nail in, it lets your door pivot without being real tight, but yet the nails are tight in the ends. All right, so that's pretty much it, except for a latch. We need a latch to keep this thing closed. So what we're going to do is here on the front, we're going to take and drill this way. Okay, we're going to drill at an angle. Now we're going to push this nail in, but that's all. We're not going to hammer it in. We're going to leave it just like that. So there you go. Your birdhouse is finished. At the end of the year, or at the end of when your bluebirds fledge, you want to clean your house, you pull that nail out, this side panel will open up, you can clean the old nest out, close it back, stick your little nail back in there. Yep, there we go. And you're good to go for the next brood or litter or whatever you call a bunch of little baby birds. Sorry about that. But you do have to clean them out for them to build in it a second time. You can get as many as 3 different families per year in a bluebird house. So, keep an eye on your bluebird houses, and when they start having babies, watch to see when the babies leave. And when the babies leave, make sure you clean that house out so you have a better chance of getting another family of bluebirds in that same house that year. So there you go. That's this video. Like I said, we're going to be doing 4 different videos for bluebird houses. They're different styles. This is the first one. And if you subscribe to our channel, it'd make it easier for you to find our other ones. We're also going to do a video about the different ways you can mount a bluebird house. That will be coming fairly soon as well. And again, if you subscribe to our channel, it'll just make it a lot easier to find those videos. So that's it. We appreciate you visiting. Do it yourself with Wayne, and we hope you have a great day.